There's a lot of studies on magnesium oil, transdermal magnesium oil, and human activity, but there's also a few things coming out now on pets. It's become a popular product in the pet world, but once again, we got the generic products coming through that are claiming to be from Zechstein, but without a logo. So we don't know where this stuff is really coming from, and we've seen this all before because the Zechstein logo, the Zechstein as a word cannot be protected because it's connected to a geological time period. It's not just it's connected to like Permian, like these kind of words you can't protect because they're scientific words, and so they're not like a region per se. So the Zechstein Inside logo is the only way you're going to get a guaranteed non-chemically treated form of this for your pet. And this is important because it's going to get in there and do the full spectrum. You want to do no harm. You don't want to do anything that can harm the animal through not only endocrine disruptors in the plastic and these cheap bottles that they use, but also in the fact that this upgraded magnesium has been chemically treated if it doesn't have the logo. And it's definitely not coming from Zechstein. You can call Zechstein themselves. No one will tell you the city from which they get their product either. They might tell you the city where they send samples to a lab in Holland and they have that lab look at whatever they're doing, but they won't tell you where the source is. And so this is just all like lack of transparency. So doing this right is really important. And the pets, you can put a little bit, like 2 or 3 sprays you can put on the belly of the animal. If you want, you can spray them a little bit wet if there's a reaction. You can test first and see if there's any reddening or whatever, but typically it works at the level it is. Some people will put it with 50% water and they'll use spring water and they'll use that as the treatment. So there's different ways you can do it, but check it out. And if it works pure, then go for it. But just do a little bit, like 1 or 2 sprays, and you're just getting it in there. Some people even put a little bit in the water of the dog, but like an extra water, so you don't want to force him into anything. So you want to put an extra water with a few sprays of the magnesium in there. And that's okay because the magnesium is better transdermally, but like internally it can if it's at very low dose, meaning it's not bitter in the water. The water tastes pretty much normal. So that's not a problem. But the better way to do it over time and long term is to find a way to do it transdermally. Maybe on the belly a little bit, 1 or 2 sprays, get that on there. And you can do that every other day. The dog will eventually get more and more benefits out of it. And he'll lick some of it and everything else, but that's okay. That's not going to do any harm. And so this is just a really good way. I know people have used it for horse training. There's different areas where people had to buy bulk and do things like that, even of our own product. And so don't forget your pets. Don't forget that they also are deficient. There's a lot of deficiency in all the food they're eating too. They're getting soy-fed animals. They're not getting top-of-the-line anything, and neither are we to some degree. Sometimes I wonder if they're not getting better food, but with the raw milk you can only buy for cats in some states, which is I can't even believe we're at that level. But so getting it for your dog is important, and you can use it yourself. So it can be a buy for both of you. It's only $3 a week. Come check us out at theheartoftradition.com and stay tuned for our message on where to get the right stuff. Thanks. When it comes to magnesium, always get the right stuff. Do not go cheap in this area. There's a lot of stuff out there that's $1.50 a week, and we're $3 a week, so you could say it's double the price. But there's a lot of fake stuff out there, even stuff that's pretending to be Zechstein. It's called ancient Permian, genuine Zechstein. There's all sorts of labels out there, and they're self-certified. And the only real official seal that you could find from the Vendam, which is the city in Holland from which this natural salt pillow formation is, where you find this natural state magnesium chloride stone called bischofite in large quantity, is using the logo Zechstein Inside. So if the Zechstein Inside logo doesn't appear, is not on the bottle, it's not from the city of Vendam. It's not the real thing. It's not even from Holland. So there's a lot of fake imports. The word Zechstein can't be controlled. So there's a lot of fake UPS, USP, pharmaceutical grade, and all these different companies, Spray and Permian and Trans, Ancient, and you see these different labelings, and they're using the word Zechstein abusively. So the only way to guarantee the right thing is probably to spend a little bit more. The thing is it's not that expensive. It's $3 a week to knock out the #1 deficiency in the world. And so it's not something that we should play with just getting super cheap on. It's kind of like getting really cheap on our salt and eggs and milk and bread and things like that are so basic. We want to spend money in these areas to where we can ensure a better product, because when it's not coming from the Zechstein Inside and that logo's not on the bottle, first off, it's solvent extracted, it's chemically treated, and so therefore it's not the same at the molecular level as far as chelation, uptake, bonding, conjugation, and all these other membrane transport and connectivity and calcium channel blocking. All the things that magnesium can do are limited by the fact that it's been chemically treated, and it's no longer, I guess you could say, sticky. It's sticky as a substance no matter what they do with it, but it's no longer sticky to a molecular level and able to chelate and make those bonds and conjugations in the right way. So you want to get something that's done right by nature and pure. And so this guarantees that. Not only does it guarantee that, but it also guarantees that people aren't mixing some good stuff with some bad stuff and then selling that as Zechstein or whatever, because as soon as the label, the logo's not on the bottle, you can't rescan that bottle and tell what it is. So there's a way to just keep this fakery going. And so we want to try to find the right stuff. I guess most people, it's not that they're all malintentioned, but it's just that there's this kind of lack of consciousness around the fact that magnesium, oh, it's all the same, it's just a mineral, do what you want with it, but it's not. And so the same with milk, the same with bread, everything is different. You just can't say pasteurized, like milk from these industrialized cattle is the same as small Jersey cattle, raw milk, and so it's just worlds apart. And so don't be fooled. So get the right stuff. That's for the first part. The second part is it's in glass. So if you want the right stuff, get it in glass. These glass blue bottles, and this is the signature series of the Zechstein Inside, as far as that type of quality that we could use to make sure the product has no endocrine disruptors, no chemical microplastic leaching into the product, and then that, once again, going into the body. Now, you don't want that in the body because we're trying to get those out of the body, and magnesium conjugations help pull that out of the body through enzymes. And so we don't want to bring some in at the molecular level on that same molecule. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So do the right thing, get it done right, and get the right price point. $25 for 2 months is very cheap, and it's a good price point to cover the deficiency of the century, basically. So come check us out at theheartoftradition.com and get your own.